Hey planner friends, how's it going? Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Ryan and this is the Man with the Plans, and we are back to do my September 2019 budget. And so I set all this up. I've been trying to do that lately. I'm in my Erin Condren. This is the deluxe monthly notebook, and I've been using these for my budgets all year long. These deluxe monthly planners are really fun, and I think they're super helpful for me, especially because, as you can see here, I track my expenses every single day over here as well, which I always think is a fun way of doing it, and then I usually have a monthly spread on this side. So September is pretty straightforward. I will leave a link down below to erincondren.com if you want to go ahead and shop for all sorts of fun stuff. I believe actually this video might be, the sale might be over, but they had that crazy warehouse sale which had a lot of stuff on sale. But yeah, so this week I just kind of took some Simply Gilded washi that my friend Emily over at EveryDollar Emily, she gifted me some, and it's absolutely beautiful. And so I figured why not use some of that today for my spread, and then the rest of the stickers, I believe this is Planner Kate, and these are all Chris Ann designs. So kind of low-key here, kind of bare bones, which I'm fine with, but September's a fun month. We are moving into the last part of the year, and I only have one debt left, which is pretty exciting. I'm super pumped. And so what I did here is I sort of laid out my budget as I normally do. We'll be going ahead and doing the budgeted on one side and then the actual on the other, and so we'll be able to do that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So let's zoom in a little bit and we can kind of go from there. I will say though, before we dive in too much more, a little bit about me. My name is Ryan. I am just under 30 years old and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a one-income household. I live by myself in downtown Minneapolis, and so you'll see that my budget reflects the rent and the fact that the groceries are just for one person, so all that good stuff. But if you're interested in decorative planning, as you can see here, or any type of budgeting, lifestyle, organization, go ahead and click that red subscribe button so you can see all my content in your feed as soon as it's published. I greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up for good budgets. It does help the channel out as we go along. So let's dive in here. First thing we've got to do right in the budget is our income section. And so for me, I have a day job that I work in local government, and my paycheck is stable at the same amount each time, and this is after taxes, and we have a pension plan we have to move into and insurance. So after all is said and done, this is what I anticipate for the month of September from my full-time job. Very, very fun stuff. I really enjoy it on a day-to-day basis. I do lots of project management. It's super exciting and really, really rewarding for me. The next thing I have on there is my side hustle. So I'm a part-time project manager for a friend of mine's business. She is Jen Casey of the Inner Boss podcast. I'll leave a link to her podcast. So I do that for 10 to 15 hours per week, and I expect after taxes for the month of September, since we do have a lot going on, that's going to be about $750 that I'll be bringing in from that side hustle venture. I will also just mention that as of right now, I leave my YouTube income off of my equation, partly because I just want to save all of it for taxes, but the other part is I do feel like I need to buy a camera and save up for other things like that, so I'm keeping it separate for now, but I can do a video on my YouTube income at the end at some point if we want to chat about that too. And the last thing you'll see on here is a transfer, and this is from my parents. We made an agreement when I went off to state school that they would pay for my undergraduate tuition. And so when we're working with student loans, they're paying their portion of what would be the minimum monthly payments. I believe I had one student loan at one time that was just under 10 grand, and then I have a current student loan that was around 40. And so it was around $600 a month if we went Great Lakes plan, and so they agreed to give me $300 a month towards that. So I factor that in as my income because it's part of the outgo, right? And so when you total all of that up, if we do the math correctly, which I did ahead of time, it should be $4,774. Not too shabby. I mean, I would love for this to be my paycheck every 2 weeks, but hey, we'll get there. And so the nice thing about this budget setup, just to quickly walk you through before we move ahead, is that what I'll do is at the end of the month, I'll go back and actually report what I got, and then if there's any overages or under, whether I got additional income or didn't make enough or whatever it was, I'll list that down here. And that will be the same for my fixed expenses and my variable expenses as well. So let's go ahead and push you guys up a little bit. See, there we go. And so I break this up into two different categories. Fixed expenses are the ones that are not really subject to change on a month-to-month basis. These are things like rent, parking, internet, my sinking fund, insurance, and student loans, right? My minimum payment. versus the variable expenses, which are things that could fluctuate depending on my activity and my lifestyle. So for example, gas, normally I have it budgeted at $70, but I have something going on where I have to go to Duluth, so I know that my gas is gonna be a little bit more, so it'll be $100 for the month of September. It's those things that really tend to fluctuate that I like to keep track of in the plus or minus column. And so that's kind of where we'll go from there. The first thing we'll do here is run through the fixed expenses. Now, my lease expires on the 29th of September, so I'm actually just building in my expenses for my next round of my lease, just so I can kind of get acclimated to it at first, and we'll take it from there. So I just figured if I get a month ahead in terms of having some additional money lying around, I can be able to kind of just use that as a cushion. So my rent moving forward, starting in October, is going to be $1,519, which is a lot, but I am quite happy where I am, and I can walk to work at a moment's notice, and I'm in the heart of downtown, which is really, really great, exactly where I want it to be. The next thing, unfortunately, is that while my first lease had parking included, they were only willing to pay for half of my parking spot a month, so it's gonna be $85 for my heated garage spot, which I swear, in a Minnesota winter, is the most convenient thing of all time. To never have to worry about like de-icing your car in the morning is just an absolute blessing, and I'm so grateful for that. The next thing is my internet with CenturyLink, which went up as well. We're now at $79.95 a month, which I still have trouble with it. CenturyLink, if you're watching, if you could fix the consistency of my Wi-Fi, I would greatly appreciate it. The next thing we have here is my sinking fund, which used to be $180 I'm contributing, but now I'm gonna contribute $280. I just know that there are some expenses that might be coming up in the future that I need to prepare for. You know, I looked at my sinking funds and was like, the stuff that you're adding in there is a little bit tight. So just try to work on that. The next thing is insurance. So I've taken over my car insurance. My parents were grateful enough to pay for that for a while. And on average, it's gonna be around $70 a month. I think what will end up happening is I'll pay it in a 6-month installment. You tend to get a little bit of a break there. And then the last thing that's a part of my fixed expenses here is my student loan minimum payment. So the minimum payment on my student loan normally is $461.35 or something like that. I decided that I wanted to round out the payment just over $800, and so for some reason it like spit out this number of $808.35 because it was me adding my old car payment, which was $347. If you want to see me talking about how I paid off my car loan, I'll leave that linked over there. But so $808.35 is what it comes down to as my minimum. So no matter what, non-negotiable, I'm putting just under $1,000 towards my student loan every single month. So if we do all the math and add all that up, total it together, my total fixed expenses right here is gonna be $2,842.30. Ta-da! Very simple. I like that I'll be able to test out how my new apartment situation is running right now. That thing's gonna be good for me. The next thing I want to go ahead and talk through are my variable expenses. So these are the ones that change. So occasionally I will add things to the variable expense column. I will take things away as I see fit. So for this month in particular, you'll notice that I have to get a wedding gift for two friends of mine that are getting married towards the end of the month. And then I'm running a half marathon up in Duluth when a friend comes to visit from Connecticut. So those are two categories that I will be adding some funds to. It's fine, I understand it's taking away from towards my Snowball, but these are things that I've committed to and I have to sort of move forward with that. So the first thing on here is gas. Normally, as I mentioned, my gas is pretty minimal. I have a Subaru Crosstrek, but I'm gonna put $100, so that's an extra $30 for our larger road trip. We'll see how far that gets us. I'm curious to see how much gas we'll actually need on our way up there. The next thing is groceries, which I'm gonna put at $250 a month. That's pretty standard over time. The next thing is restaurant. My restaurant spending has been pretty hit or miss. Some months I'm great and some months I'm super over. So I'm trying to get that a little bit more. So I bumped that up by $50. The next thing is personal spending. This includes all sorts of stuff like haircuts and all that other good stuff. And this is also like a Hulu subscription, Netflix, those things all kind of get tacked into there. The next thing is for the YouTube channel. That's $75, whether that's stickers or pens or something to save for or a memory card or what you have. Whatever you might think you might need, I do that. Then the next is my Excel Energy and my water and sewer. I put them on the same column this week. And so I expect that we'll have $90 for my UMS. I had the air on a lot and I feel like that was a mistake, but it was so humid and it was just so uncomfortable to sleep that I had it on lower than I would have hoped to save all that. But There we go, that's my choice, and hopefully as we move into September it'll start to cool off a little bit and I won't need to have the heat on and I can just have my windows open. The next thing is the half marathon weekend. I've already paid for my registration, but I'm just anticipating $150 in miscellaneous expenses. I really hope I'm under in that. I'm just concerned for how much it'll cost in the long run. But you know what? At least I'm setting the money aside, and worst case scenario, I'm able to repurpose it at the end of the month and use it towards something else, right? And then the last thing here is a wedding gift for my two friends that are getting married, and I'm putting $50 for that. I want to make sure I get them something off their registry or just a check because I want to make sure that I'm giving them something to celebrate. When we total all of that information up from top to bottom, we get $1,165 even. I'd really love to be under in a number of those columns, that's my hope, but let's go ahead and figure out sort of the mainstays here. We'll just kind of draw a quick line. So my total income for the month is $4,774. My total expenses, so adding up $4,007.30. So then all we have to do is take $4,774 and subtract that from all the expenses, and that's total leftover is going to be $766.70. Which means that if I behave and spend what I need to for the month of September, I'll be putting $808.35 plus just under $800 towards my student loan, which is pretty nifty considering we are just trucking along with our student loan debt. I'm just really excited that we're only at one left. So let's flip over. As you can see here, we've got the sinking funds down below, and then we've got the debt tracker here. So to start with, my starting balance as of this day of filming, which is, let's see, August 25th. I know interest accrues on a daily basis, so I'm sure this will go up before the month actually starts, but it's $24,015.86. And our minimum payment, as I mentioned earlier, is $808.35. And then for my interest rate, same thing, 6.55%. And then we'll leave the extra payment blank and the ending balance blank. But the beautiful thing here is I don't have to do any math in this section. The total debt that I have left is $2,015.86. Oh, it's so exciting to think that I am getting closer and closer to being completely debt-free. Every single payment that I give to Great Lakes, it saddens me to watch my account go down, but it's also so exciting to realize like how much freedom I have coming my way in the future, right? So it's going to be really, really excellent, and I'm really hoping I can stay diligent and gazelle intense the entire way through. The last part of my budget are sinking funds. So I've mentioned these before. I have a video on sinking funds up over here. I use Capital One 360. There's a link down below in the description box if you want to set up your own separate sinking funds. The reason why I do that is you can technically break these out into a number of different individual sinking funds in the same account. So you can dedicate where the money goes. I usually dedicate $180 towards my sinking funds every month, but we are adding another $100, so it's going to be $280. Our starting balance for the month of September, as it sits here, is $1,026.71. And these little jars are from Chris Ann Designs from Michaels, that collection, which I think is absolutely beautiful. The next thing we're going to do though is I technically have these like 5 categories. Travel, medical, car maintenance, I have a Go Wild sinking fund, and I have a car tabs. I do have a Christmas fund, but I have not really been contributing to it, which is part of why I'm going to be adding some money in the future, because I want to make sure that I do have a decent amount of money to get my friends and family some gifts this holiday season. So the first thing is my travel fund, which is pretty topped off. It's at $350 right now, which should get me a round trip flight to and from New York with a little bit left over for me if I ever need to come back for some sort of unexpected family travel. And this is not meant for like vacations and stuff. I would love that, that would be great. But for me, seeing my family is really important, and I make that commitment to come home as often as I can. That's why I have the travel fund. The next one is my medical fund, which has been funded for quite a while now, and that's also at $350. I do have a health savings account that has $250 in it, which is nice, so that I can actually not have to burn through this at first. So the HSA, so really we're sitting at $600 in terms of medical expenses for copays, which I think is a good thing. After my medical fund, we've got my car maintenance fund, which I will unfortunately say I used for some car maintenance earlier in the year, but I do believe we're going to be needing to up this as we go into the winter months. So all that's left here is $126.71. My car is only, I think, 3 or 4 years old at this point, so it only has around 38,000 miles, so it's in pretty good shape, and I want to take care of it though, especially considering I just paid it off in the month of August. I want that car to last. So for me, starting to put money aside to make sure that I have that car and take good care of it. I have a feeling tires are up on the menu coming up at some point, so starting to set aside some additional funds for that is going to be really, really helpful. The next thing that I have is my Go Wild sinking fund, which is $200. For those of you that are fellow planner folks and part of Planners Gone Wild, Go Wild is an annual conference every year that takes place somewhere across the United States. It hasn't been mentioned yet and announced where it will be for 2020, but I am saving for it anyway. I know that I will find a way to get there. It's a really great experience for me, and to meet fellow planners as a part of the channel, it's been a lot, but it was also a pretty sizable expense. So for me, spreading that out and saving it up over time was super convenient. So I've already got $200 sitting there waiting for me if an expense comes up or I need to reserve my ticket or start thinking about hotel accommodations or airfare. It's just sitting there saying, yeah, whatever you need me for, I'm ready. And the last thing is my car tabs. In Minnesota, we have an annual registration. Mine is in July, so I have actually just cleared my car tabs fund out for right now. And so we'll start contributing to that next month, which will be really exciting. The thing I love about Capital One is that they give you a debit card, so I actually just used my debit card to pay for my tabs, and I never cleared my bank account, which was super nice. So that's all I've got for my budget this month. Let's zoom you guys out so you can take a full look at what we have going on. This is a pretty sort of laid back kind of budget spread, but also it does all of what I need it to, which is important. So if you liked this video and you found it helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it, and it does help the channel out. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, hit that red subscribe button so you can see my content every time it's published. What sort of things are you doing in September? What big budget items are on your plate? What are you looking forward to from a financial perspective? Leave me a comment down below. I try really hard to answer them. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great month. Hope you're making smart, fiscally responsible choices, and I'll see you next time. Bye, planner friends.